Hey, welcome back. So shortly after the first video, that if you haven't watched, please do so. I'll put a link in the description. This thing got put on hold for until this spring, and we finally got back going on her. And here's the rest of how she went. Please subscribe, like, share, comment, and thanks for tuning in. So I've pretty much decided that I'm going with white. We got to have something nice to apply decals to, and this is going to be fun because I got all this actual wood grain here, all a bunch of stickiness from underneath where the wood grain was. Bondo, I don't know, this side over here is definitely Bondo. And I need some pieces of steel to do a little patching. Speaking of that, all these pieces of aluminum need to go because they have to be steel. The decking should be fine though, because that's not the body, that is just closed off for the fuel cell. And I mean, there's never been a problem with this being aluminum. Might still leave the roof patina, but we'll see. I guess that's coming off pretty decent. I got some 45 grit here, overpriced from Auto Value. So this part has definitely been overlooked. There is a lot of junk to get sanded off of here to make paint and decals stick to. And I tell you what, this thing is just not really cutting it. I mean, if we want to be here for a full day, maybe, but we gotta figure out something better. After days of sanding, I think we are finally ready to paint this thing. Big thanks to Brandon Distel, who did a lot of sanding while I was able to do some sheet metal work. Got these patches swapped out with steel. Rust covered up back there. Over here we just put a whole bunch on because she was all pretty rusty and it was less wood grain we had to deal with. Got some stock A-pillars now. Got this replaced with steel. Another rust cover there. And this side wasn't too bad, so I really like that body line too, and I didn't really want to do that over there, but so I just put a little patch up there where she was rusty, but yeah, finally time to get her painted. She's finally gonna get some color today. Primer time. Brand, somebody actually knows what he's doing here.
Maybe. I might.
Brandon gonna get her done for me. BTD Customs.
Get some primer mixed up. Starting to look like it's gonna work.
Gotta at least be good enough at this point.
Yep. dust it on there at first and keep going. Pretty cold out here, so we don't want to go too fast.
I had her up to like 90 with the big old turbo heater. Might need her again here soon, but
It's like 38 outside.
it's like 50 actually.
Is it today?
Yeah.
I don't feel like it.
All right, time to get her done. Alrighty, getting her nice and smooth out here, doing some quick wet sanding.
Get ready for paint line warm up.
Coming out to pretty nice. Yeah, so one part that I don't have to figure out.
The fine print.
I'm gonna have to be spending hours watching Dalton on Pole Bar Garage and how he mixes them up and maybe finally get it, but
We're working on it. Just about ready to turn this car white tonight.
hell yeah.
I ain't got too much to say right now. Gotta stay focused. We'll get her done. It's finally warming up. Springtime. Back to painting and then racing. And ducks. Good enough. Paint and thinner.
Man, got a couple Turbo 350s picked up here.
Yep. Eventually get that one done. Get the old budget build running after this one's done. Getting kind of excited, and that's not until 8 months away. But it comes up fast. So.
She is finally getting paint. Woo-hoo. We've got us a nice, sexy white wagon. She turned out pretty good. Big thanks to buddy Brandon Distel, BTD Customs, getting her done for me. Getting closer. Next step, motor. So this here is the motor that came in the car and was sitting in it since 05. I believe he said he thought he had too much timing in it and started losing power, and obviously pistons started coming apart, and that it had just locked up within the past few years of sitting there. So yeah, she is locked up tight, and I am interested to see what is inside. Looks pretty clean in here actually, so that's a good start. She got the 601 heads, which are okay, third in line behind 416s and 081s. That's what my last pure stock had on her. Oh yeah. Yum. Pretty sure she must be even stock bore. I guess I'll have to clean one of them off and see if there's something marked on there, but I ain't seeing nothing yet. This side's not too bad. Yeah. So, got the bright idea to buy a motor ready to go from an old buddy. We went to pull her out and realized he messed up and left water in her over the winter. So hopefully it's actually 40 over, and this supposedly has like 13 shows from Pasco's, and I can just transfer everything out of here straight into the other block. But I got an okay deal with a bunch of other parts I need. Aluminum pulleys, 2 aluminum intakes, mini starter, exhaust manifold, exhaust, camshaft, another block, 2 sets of 416 heads, 3 quad jets, 2 distributors, some more rods for the other motor. Nice clean 416s there. So yeah, we're gonna tear this down and see what we got. Disappointing to say the least. All I pretty much got here is a expensive pile of scrap. 601 heads. STD standard bore. Look at this freaking ball. And also realized the block that came with it cracked. Ugh. Yeah. Also, for some reason, the exhaust valves have made contact with the piston on every cylinder for some reason. Don't freaking know. So Devin Freeze, my basically brother-in-law, drives a 95F pure stock. Had given me this motor last year. It's 40 over. It was taken apart because he said 2 bad pistons. I've only found 1, so I gotta look harder at that yet. This is 40 over. I did order bearings, good rings, and then realized that the rod caps are the rod caps are marked, but the rods are not. So I really should have just taken the rods out of the motor that came with the car. But then I got a bright idea of getting that other motor that was supposed to be ready to go to get her in there, because it's time to go, man. We got to get out there. Season opener at RL was Saturday. I got to get going here. So now my idea is take this one that came in the car. The crank's ground 10 over, 10 under. Looks to be in really good shape. And I already have 10 under bearings. For this one. And put these rods and pistons and that motor. The only worry is one of the cylinders got pretty rusty, so I'm going to try to get that cleaned up. And since I've never actually put a bottom end together before, we're going to make the best out of this and put this one together to start the year with and practice on. And then, you know, just getting radiator hose sizes and such is being weighted on. The motor has got to get in there. And then we'll probably work on getting this one back together. Got a new part I pointed out that them cam bearings should probably be replaced, so. Yeah, supposed to be tornadoes and stuff tonight, so got the Catalina in here for protection too. So I did also get another set of rods with that parts I got in that motor that are actually marked. And I have the ones now out of this one. I just had factory GM pistons in it, but it was definitely rebuilt. Levite 77 series bearings. 10 under. Cylinder number 6 here. Giving me some concerns, but we'll see what we can do. Well, honestly, I really don't even know what I'm doing, but I think we call that honed. Well, a lot of water was sitting in that one, but I don't know. I'm sure it ain't ideal, but I think it'll work, so send it. So the good old Vice Grip Garage has got a good video on there of rebuilding a small box Chevrolet. Went back and rewatched that on how to clean up the crank a little bit with some 400 grit, some string, and then some polishing after. This thing's in pretty decent shape, but I'm just cleaning it up a little bit. And this one here, definitely messed up in the connector rod bolts. Definitely made contact with it, and not in such a good way. So, but it seems to be working. Pretty decent. I'm about sick of it. Well, I think I about got her. But you can clean her off and find a clean place to do the polish. But he's got a real good video on there doing this much gooder than I do it. But you know what? It's pretty much just an experiment here with this motor. Get her going. I think we are ready to finally put this thing together. Got a dingleberry hone in there, and them cylinders do look nicer now. All cleaned up. I think the crank looks pretty decent. See, it's a collection of camshafts, but I think we're going to use the one out of that motor just because I got everything together there. And we're going to start by throwing that in. Get this one moved. Alrighty, camshafts in. I got it going.
Oh, it is. I thought it was not because there's a circle.
There we go.
Where's your spinning wheel?
Okay.
Bearings in the cap.
Yeah. All right, making some pretty good progress here on the old motor. Got the timing set in, timing cover, oil pump, oil pan, lifters. I think it's time to throw some heads on her. Got them all cleaned up. Just gonna run them 601s. I want to save my complete good set of 416s for the other motor when I get that one done. Use the head bolts, and yeah, hopefully she'll be running tomorrow. All right, she sure does look good. After spending the last hour digging around for motor mount bolts and such, I think I can finally lift her off the stand, get her mated up to the old turbo 350 here that came with the car. You know it works. Behind the super motor she was bolted to, but it also busted off in the one hole there somehow, so that's fine. Time to get her in. Let's go. She's bolted in. Got these nice solid motor mounts as a kit from Speedway with the bolts even. Got the oil primed up. I got the wrong fitting here for oil pressure sender, so that was leaking. I hopefully got the right one now, thanks to my boss. Yeah, we're really hoping to hear her around here tonight, so yeah, get all the rest of her bolted on and let her buck. Just put some gas in her, we're about ready to try and fire her off here. Fuel pumps in, manifold, spark plugs, wires, cap, starter, everything's hooked up. Still don't have the right fitting for this, so hopefully that little plug deal is gonna work, but I just want to hear it run. Got the nice freshened up Newport Quadrajet. So yeah, I'm gonna get some gas up through this line, hook her up, and try firing her. Well, here we go. See if she runs.
You got a button on your
Yeah, it is right there. Huh? It's right here.
Popped out there, good sign. Didn't get splashed with oil yet.
Nope.
Plug holes so far. Warning light work.
Hell yeah, she runs, boys!
I'm excited.
So we got to run these spec shocks this year that they literally couldn't even put the right number on. Like they're missing a number on both front and rears. The old KYBs, or they have a Spectrum one too. So Brandon's working on that. I absolutely would have literally sent it with these ones from 05. And of course, that's back when stuff was actually made good, so. But whatever, it was like $100 plus shipping for the 4 shocks, so I don't hate the rule. We'll do her. I'm working on getting some exhaust here. We had this hacked up for the last time there was a motor in here. And I think these came off a streeter originally that we fabbed up. But we got manufactured mufflers. It's even got number on there. Oh, there we go. This one here is pretty nasty though. Still probably gonna send it because they fit these manifolds pretty nice, and we, got this too where it just seals right up in there instead of them stupid donut gaskets that are just gonna blow right out. These here that I got with the manifolds just makes a I don't know, that's like pointed way too far down, I think. I don't know. And it's really short, so make something work. Yep.
Okay, it gassed up when we took the strap off of it.
That.
I thought they were gonna be red.
That'd be sexy. Radiator shrouds. I have found it easiest to start with a factory one. Starting to get this figured out. I think it should work out all right. This one came from an S10 Outback, so I think you should be able to make her work. It's about the perfect width. Just trying to get her all mocked up here. Radiator hoses are all hooked up, filled with water. I was able to let her run and come up to temp for a while, and all still seems to be good. Radiator shrouds done, radiator's mounted. Got a stock power steering pump from Dustin Hollum. Looks to be working, that works, looks to be alright. Ended up using a shroud from a 1/2 ton Chevy and half an extender. Yeah, everything under here is pretty well good, I think. Got her timed. Made a throttle linkage. There's some stupid little eye hooks that since you can't find Heim joints around here. Got the battery nice and fastened down. Still gotta do the tranny cooler, put seat belts in, swap some wheels. Got a metal fuel filter on there. 3-inch fan spacer. New air filter. Took these little hold downs too from that truck. So yeah, we're getting there. It's Monday night, 11:30. I think it's about time to call her quits for the night, and hopefully take her for a test drive tomorrow.
this pot's too tore up right now, or otherwise he could testicle around there. Well, she's sounding pretty good. Just runs, drives, stops. Take her down. Open her up a little more. Come back one more time here.
Fuzzy did a great job on the graphics, but I was wanting a little more color, so I painted some blue on the bottom and added some red racing stripes on the top, and it made all the difference. Finally got a front bumper made here. It's turned out pretty nice. Same concept there. 1 3/4 pipe with 1.5 inch inside. Gonna put a bolt through her. Oh man, I got a radiator screen in there, shaker deal. Out of an old screen from a house window that the dogs knocked out. Should really have some chicken wire on there too, but you know what? I ain't got none right now, so we'll see how long that lasts. Had some major issues backing off the trailer with the exhaust. Bent this driver's side all the shit. Because at first it was just the driver's side catch. I put a board under it and it's fine, but that's alright because this was ugly anyway. So I bent up a nice new pipe at work, welded on the muffler. Got that side up a little bit too. Now we should have plenty of clearance. I tried to take the studs out of there because them were all stripped, of course, and that turned into a shit show. Between the torch and drill, I finally got them out. We got bolts and nuts on it now. She should be golden. Tomorrow's finally race day, and one thing I've been putting off is having to get a brake booster on this thing because we chucked it back in 2021 there because it didn't matter then. Just a lot of unnecessary weight up there, and now it's required. So I've been struggling with that. Can't really find a new one anywhere. Not even Rock Auto has them. So there was a Buick out back at hometown that already had it missing. That was my plan to take it from that. But then I realized I've had one sitting here the whole time on my 79 Eldorado. That you definitely need to subscribe and see video coming out soon on this lane. But a quick look at her now. This has the studs on the inside here, and I believe there's like a little spacer that's supposed to be on mine because it looks like the studs go towards the engine with nuts out there, and that's what I remember. So I have to dig this off, but I should be able to make this one work either way. So getting that off of the Eldorado and on here was a lot more work than I expected. But made it work. And my master cylinder even bolts to it, so that's good. I had to cut off one of the studs and drill a new hole for one. But yep, she worked out and she's got power brakes now. Well, we're a couple hours from race day here, getting her scaled up. I actually had to add 100 pounds. Very surprised. Well, when you need more weight, you gotta do what you gotta do. I didn't have any lead, but I had this 100-pound tractor weight. Bolted her down there and put some welds on her, and she's nice and sturdy. I don't see a problem with it. Had to make something for the old breather here. Big fitting's supposed to go on there, didn't have one. So how about a garden hose, you know? An old fuel filter adapted down. Perfect. Gotta weigh 3,200 pounds. And I had 47% rear, now I almost got 50 for 100-pound piece, so not looking too shabby. See how she goes tonight. Well, we made her out barely. We got Brandon putting on the final touch, Snagin Wagon sticker. Out here for kids night. Today's been kind of a struggle, but we made her, and I drew at 11, probably starting up front, so we'll see how she goes. She finally made her out to the racetrack for kids night. Rice Lake Speedway last night. Oh, yesterday I noticed the dipstick tube was starting to leak pretty good, and the tranny was starting to be funny. Started on the pole in heat number 2. Took off good. And then, you know, just had neutrals. So we pulled the pan off, checked the filter, and cleaned her up. Wasn't clogged or nothing. Then realized that that dipstick tube was definitely junk and messed with before. Yeah. So Newport went and got us a nice new chrome one at the old AutoZone. And we got some more fluid and got her done just in time for the future. Filled her up and she worked perfectly fine. She was just low on fluid. But started dead last and managed to drive her up to 5th. I was very happy with that. She worked really good, and my little motor stayed together and had plenty of power, it seemed like. So that made me very happy. It did seem to have something, oil pressure issue at the end of the straightaway in the corner where she dropped down to like 20. I guess we must be running out of oil for some reason. I already have 6 quarts in it. That's what I used to run in them. And it's not a high volume pump, so I guess we'll have to look into that. And we almost had a catastrophe here right before loading up. One of the wheels I got
was actually a 5-on-5 and didn't realize it and tighten her down. We were looking at these studs and we're like, man, I don't know if you can see it, but they are all crooked. Then I tried to tighten up some more, busted that one off. Luckily, Steve Karshbaum, my neighbor, had an extra wheel, 4 3/4. And AutoZone was supposed to have the lugs in stock. So I stopped and picked them up on the way. They're the right thread, but they were too small. They would not. Just, you know, loosey-goosey in there. So we just hoped for the best, and it worked out. Then I'll also point out that I only have the 4 wheels that were all given to me by Devin Freeze and Halliburton. They're pretty well used, but they work. This one here, this wheel's pretty nice, but this tire is old and weather checked, and I was a little nervous about her, but she held in there just fine. Man, she sings a nice tune. Looking shit right out of her last night. So I got new studs from Auto Value that actually fit. So freaking short though. And all this wheel fits on there just fine. So I don't know what the heck was going on, but it must have happened before. Let's see, yes. But yeah, look at how bent these are.
So something else you noticed when we were going through all this is that kickdown cable is missing. You know, they're usually cut off, but it's still in there. Now, I don't remember if it was never in there or I stole it for something, but either way, it's not there. So I'm gonna clean that out and plug that off or something. So I'm gonna drain this fluid again and put a new filter in her and get that cleaned up. Luckily, I can save this fluid because she actually has a drain on her. I probably won't put it back in here, but it'll work for something. And yeah, check out that nice chrome dipstick tool. And she's not too oily under here. It looks like the motor's doing pretty good, I guess. To keep an oil in it, looks like there's something there. The seal back might leak just a little bit, but she looks pretty decent. Does have parts of tranny fluid around, but that's to be expected. So there actually is a plug up in there where that kickdown cable goes. It's interesting, but that's good. I don't know. This tranny fluid looks pretty flaky, and what is that big piece of metal right there? Ooh, I don't know, man. Well, new filter and fluid, and we'll see how long she lasts. Yeah, this is definitely much worse than when we took it off after the heat Saturday night. But it was going right in the gear just fine. Yeah, or on Sunday, yeah, even too. So, you ever? Well, there you have it. The Snagin Wagon 68 Chevelle Pure Stocks, all ready to buck. It was an amazing feeling. I tell you what, it felt so good for it all to finally come together and get the top 5 the first night out, especially how it started. Really makes it all worth it. So hopefully now here we can just keep getting better and prove that you don't need to spend $10,000 on a pure stock to be competitive. There's currently under $5,000 into this car between all my amazing sponsors and friends and people that have helped me out. And this is pretty much all paid for by sponsors, thankfully, because I can't afford to be racing. I can barely even afford to be alive. So It really means a lot. This is something I love doing. I think the car turned out pretty awesome. A lot of people love it. You know, hopefully we can pick up a feature win on a very low budget and show that it can still be done. And just have a lot of fun with this, like it's the old school days. Hopefully we can get some t-shirts and stuff made this year. So there probably won't be another video on the car, but I'll probably be making a weekly short recap of what how racing went on Saturday nights at the Rice Lake Speedway. It'd really help a lot if you could please subscribe, like, comment, share. Help get this channel going some more here, and that would be really awesome. Thanks for watching.